Ricky Baker is a child no one seems to want. He's a bad egg. He's disobedient, steals stuff, throws rocks at stuff, kicks stuff, defaces stuff, burns stuff, loiters, graffitis, and that's just the stuff we know about. This has led to him being tossed around the foster care system and ended up at the edge of the New Zealand bush with Bella and Hector Faulkner. Bella is a warm-hearted and loving person who immediately tries to show Ricky that he has a place in her home, while Hector's feelings towards Ricky range from ambivalent to annoyed, which matches Ricky's distaste of the rural situation he finds himself in, desperate to return to his big city life. But over time, he grows to love the gorgeous New Zealand wild and ends up heading deep into the bush with Hector on an adventure. Due to a misunderstanding though, the police and child services are out to find Ricky and Hector and drag them back to society. Along the way, Hector grows to see the inner complexities of Ricky, a sweet kid underneath it all just looking for a family, while Ricky sees past Hector's gruff exterior to see the true father figure he never had. Together they travel around the wild, learning what it is to really be a family. The chemistry between Ricky, portrayed by Julian Dennison, and Hector, played by Sam Neill of Jurassic Park fame, is the emotional center of this film. Ricky just exudes a pure, genuine energy that is difficult not to love, and you can sense some of that insecurity in him that led him to being labeled a bad egg. Though over the course of the film, it's clear he's anything but. And seeing that side of him flourish and bring out the best of Hector is nothing short of heartwarming and gives this film a sense of optimism that at times reminds me of my favorite aspects of Hayao Miyazaki's storytelling. This may seem like a weird comparison to make, but one of the most resonant features of a classic Miyazaki movie is that overall sense of joy, love, family, and optimism for the future. All this is possible because of the film's writer and director, Taika Waititi, who is able to give emotional weight and understanding to each character while making you smile and laugh nearly the entire way through. Over his career, Taika has shown himself to be a master of this kind of sad but funny storytelling, seen in other filmmakers like Wes Anderson or the Coen brothers. Wes, though, feels like they're very style-focused, obsessed with crafting an incredibly particular stylistic experience. While the Coens have shed some of that goofy persona more and more over time, their work is now firmly more sad than funny. Taika's work, on the other hand, exudes a genuine understanding of relationships and family blended with some pitch-perfect New Zealander humor, able to grasp the humanity of his characters and bring them to the forefront while expressing that information to his audience with a mix of absolutely ridiculous situations and character moments that blend the balance between heartbreaking and hilarious. New Zealand itself is also a major character of this story, and I think this is one of the best films I've seen showcasing the island's natural beauty. Now, I know you're probably saying to yourself right now, but The Lord of the Rings. And yeah, I love The Lord of the Rings, and those movies are undeniably the most popular movies filmed on the islands. But to be honest, I don't see New Zealand from those movies, I see Middle-earth. Hunt for the Wilderpeople explores the New Zealand bush itself and inhabits it with its people. It gives you a picture of something more tangible and human to relate to. If you're unfamiliar with Taika's brand of humor, then think of his longtime collaborators, the band Flight of the Conchords. And if you're unfamiliar with them, then pause this video and go to look them up on YouTube because they are one of the best comedy folk bands around. But as Taika has described it, it's the humor of the mundane. A slow kind of humor that doesn't feel like it has this desperation to make you laugh that some American comedies become trapped in. So in that vein, the most familiar comparisons are going to be other pieces of New Zealander humor like Flight of the Conchords, or for a more specific film, I would say Taika's own Jojo Rabbit. Both films share the fact that they are child-centered dramas that have an aura of near fantastical humor, and situations that despite the ridiculousness of the scenario feel grounded and human because of Taika's ability to write relatable human characters. For an American example though, you could look to the work of Jared Hess in his movies Napoleon Dynamite, Nacho Libre, and Genoa and Broncos. The latter actually starring Taika's friend and frequent collaborator Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords. Their movies tend to be awkward, slow, and frequently focused on mundane everyday life, and silly situations people find themselves in there. While I find Hess's work to be hit or miss, especially when contrasted against Taika, who has a much better understanding of pacing and timing in his films, they both have this ability to turn the mundane and the unextraordinary into compelling and hilarious movies. Hunt for the Wilderpeople reminds me a lot of when I was a Boy Scout and going on camping trips, thinking about how I could disappear into the woods and live for ages, fending for myself. It's a story that kind of plays on those silly boyhood fantasies, which is why it's a perfect comparison to Moonrise Kingdom. This Wes Anderson movie shares a lot of the emotion and heart of Wilderpeople, with the big divergence being the stylization of each film. When you watch Moonrise Kingdom, it's a movie about a Boy Scout troop going on adventures in the woods, and it's one of Anderson's most beautiful and slick productions. That also has themes of finding family and where you belong. It plays on those boyhood ideas of grand adventure with your friends that are only possible in fantasies or film. These are both great movies, and if you enjoyed Moonrise Kingdom, you'll find something to love in Hunt for the Wilderpeople. When thinking of directors I'm most excited to see more of, Taika Waititi is always near the top of my list. His one-of-a-kind writing style and ability to cultivate warm, complex characters is unmatched. This movie will put you through every emotion you can think of, the happy and the sad. But by the end, you won't be able to help the smile on your face or the sense of optimism in your heart. With that being said, Hunt for the Wilderpeople is without a single doubt in my mind a movie you should watch.